Looking like we're wanting to open up on the overnight high. And we're right tucked into the 360 level from last week. So I'm going to be watching the 360, 359, 360 up into that level there to see what kind of action we're going to get there. That was the chop zone from last week. It was 360 down to 280. So we kind of whipped up above it, whipped down below it. We have the Iran-Israel news that could escalate, could make things a bit interesting moving forward. So that's what I'm going to wait and see, kind of where the open reacts. Obviously, we have been bid up here pre-market, even on the open here right here. Kind of anticipated a little bit of a gap down, a little bit of a flush. Didn't get it, so you get some strength, and then you're pushing back up into the upside here. So we are watching that. We had retail sales numbers come out this morning. Retail sales came out at 0.7 as opposed to 0.4 the forecast. So we are still strong in the retail sales sector. We do have a slightly lower tick to the downside since the previous month. So retail sales slightly down technically, but realistically up overall as opposed to the forecast and whatnot. No other real news today. Housing market index, I don't think that's really going to change anything. And business inventory, same deal. Not much really to push the needle any direction. Next real important information is going to be tomorrow with the building permits. And that too is really going to be just more of a bit of information, nothing crazy. And we got just a bunch of just half-hearted news this week. So that really tells me everything is going to be based off of that Iran-Israel stuff going on here. Live Mideastern markets. Let's see what they got to say about it. Retail sales in the U.S. rise sharply in March. Could boost first quarter GDP. They want to see if Israel is going to be taking any further action on the Iran attacks. What's up, Mo? What's up, baby? How we doing? Bitcoin lost some ground. Step-by-step investigators. So rate cuts will likely start this year, as Fed Williams mentioned. He dismissed the idea of the latest run of mostly hotter than expected pricing reports, representing a turning point in the Fed's struggle to drive inflation back to 2%. He also said the Fed's monetary policy stance remained tight, but he expected the U.S. economy to continue to expand in spite of this. So he expects interest rate cuts to begin later on in the year, which is interesting. Obviously, we were expecting 6, then 4, then 2, or 3, then 2. So we're going to just be kind of just eyeballing what these Fed guys have to say. Treasury yields, down, fragility test. All right. So right now it's still holding that overnight high. I'd say up to in that 360 area, right? I mentioned. Where am I at? Right? That 360 area was the high end of the range on Monday through Tuesday up into Wednesday. Wednesday we got this big sell-off, sat down here at that 172 level, then popped upside, just kind of leaving ourselves up here, then to just melt off on Thursday. Friday got a little bit of a bounce, but everything seems to want to remain kind of right here between that 18,360 and 18,172 levels. I think without any direction with this Iran war or anything like that, you may just kind of still do some similar stuff that we did early in the week, right? Because you can see on Thursday the week before, you got that big sell-off. You got bid back up on Friday, and then on the NFP numbers. And then you kind of just sat right in that range all Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then you broke out of it Wednesday, came right back into it Thursday, Friday, and now we're right back into that same range. So I don't anticipate really any sort of breakout from this range until you get more news on the Iran thing or something stating that we're going to do more rate cuts or less rate cuts, or those are the types of things that I'll be eyeballing when it comes down to it. Last week we didn't stream Thursday or Friday, didn't make any trades. We were traveling, and we were making sure that we got together with the old Tradecaster family over there in New York. We had a great time. Mo was over there. We had a really good turnout at the meetup, and then the event on Saturday was really great as well. So made a lot of new good connections, learned a lot of stuff on the weekend. So really just going to try and take advantage of this week, having a full week of trading, and just making sure we're continuing to execute on that same plan like we did last week of simplicity, right? One trade, two good trades, waiting for our levels to set up, and then going from there. Because obviously when I diddle in the middle, it's when you get myself in trouble. And then right now we're going to be looking at this chart here because a lot of the levels from last week are pretty much going to be in play this week. I think a break and a hold above 360 gets us to rotate back up into the 18.5s, somewhere around there. So a break above 360, you rotate into this purple zone. I don't really believe that we have enough good information to get ourselves out of that purple zone to the upside, but the market does what it does. Microsoft looking to bid up pre-market right now, just caught a nice little pop, pushing right up into that 427.15 resistance area. So Microsoft pushing up into 416. What am I talking about? 428. Nvidia still sitting high side, right below the 892.23. So you can see these levels here. Nvidia Friday sold off, sat right around that support at 877. We gapped up this morning, pushed right up into the 892.23 level, and is sitting below it. If we get above it and start to rotate up, 900 comes back into play, then this market gets a little bit of bulls coming in. However, you fail this level, start to rotate down, could drag the market down with you. You got Apple. Apple held that 168 on late last week. 168. We did talk about it in my write-up. I didn't do the write-up this week. I got home pretty late last night after work. Flew in really early, went straight to work, and then didn't really have time for the write-up. But we did mention it last week that 168 was that key level, right? So we flushed the low here, came down into it, could not hold that 168 level Thursday. Caught a really nice bid on Apple. Obviously, people wanting to buy that 168. So watch for that to be the true bottom. If that breaks, then I think the whole market goes. But right now, Apple's sitting on highs, probably going to rotate around up into that 180 zone would probably be my high of the week for Apple if it kind of cracks up in there. So we got 1 minute till open. I'm going to just be mindful of NVIDIA, be mindful of Microsoft. And Microsoft pushing up into, like I said, 427.15 probably opens, pushes up above it, wicks it, and starts to rotate back down into that 422 if you get some selling. All right, so we're going to go over to our main trading screen. We're trading, like I mentioned, every week now. We are trading these funded accounts. I have two 50Ks currently active. This one's up $13.95, trying to build that $2,000 buffer before we start taking payouts on it. And the market is now open, so happy trading. Let's get it going, people. I didn't quite get any sort of setup right there. I wait for that opening range to kind of create itself. That opening range for me is the first minute. I leave these. I'm going to lower this. I like this sell. I was interested in selling kind of early. I just don't think that quick is where I want it to be. I'm going to throw up the ES on this chart as well. So we have ES on the right and Q on the left. Got a really nice sell right there off the jump. I wanted to push up into that overnight high again. So I want to see if this will do that. We are still above VWAP. So I'm going to be mindful. Like I said, I did think that this is what was going to happen with Microsoft. You can see Microsoft there selling off pretty nicely right off the open. So just watching that kind of stuff going forward. We're going to move on it. Patience, right? Patience early. Don't want to just jump into things just to jump into them. But like I said, I did like that short right off of that area. I wanted to wick up 360 first. But this is the kind of setup that I look for right into a level, right? Overnight high, we got right to it. We opened pretty much on the overnight high. We have this little bit of a rising wedge into a key level. So there's two key levels. We just didn't quite make it up to the 360 where I really wanted to get that divergence. Now that we're selling off, we're going to watch the green line, previous day high, see if it'll hold the previous day's high, probably give another bounce, come back up, and then we are making this rising trend line here. So if we hold this trend, hold pretty much above this VWAP area, then another rotation higher possibly before we do end up selling off more. But this is a pretty nice move to the downside. Pretty heavy. Tilt 60-40. We are running a sale over here on tradecaster.com. So if you are done with your free trial or you're going to sign up for your free trial, go ahead and do that. 7-day free trial. If you're on YouTube, they're doing a 1-day sale just today. If you sign up for whatever you sign up for, whether it be 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, a year, lifetime, he's doing a 2-for-1 on it, right? So if you sign up for 1 month, you get 2 months. Sign up for 6, you get a year. Sign up for a year, you get 2 years. And then a lifetime, I think he's either giving 25% off or you could gift your second lifetime membership to somebody else. So really good value there. Just today only he's running it. So take advantage of it if you were thinking about it. Double up whatever you were going to do. It's going to save you a ton of money and provide you unlimited value, right? You're going to have me, you're going to have all these guys. You have Deck. You got, you can make that money back and then some and then share the wealth with your friends. Starting our day off right with the day trading coffee company Scalper's Delight Dark Roast. I'm always the dark roast guy. And then our short squeeze espresso, keeping me rocking and rolling. I like that sell there right down into 18.3. Previous day high kind of didn't really hold at all. We're on a 5. I don't like that. So you can see this is the setup that I really do like. I just wanted one more push up on the open, right? We had this rising wedge here. Probably got a bit of a delta divergence on it. Oop. Right, we see here price pushing up. Delta not quite following through, not getting near. So we made this new high. We pushed into this new high. Then price trying to rally up into it. This is the delta there. This is where the buyers are stepping in, kind of selling off, flattening out, trying to tick up, but not making it above here, not showing new strength coming in. And that's why you get at the point where you break the trend line down, you get a really nice bit of sellers to kind of squeeze us in. Right now, we are running into an area where delta is, it's actually ticking up now a little bit for the sell side. Very interesting. Russell, kind of flat. S&P's rolling over. We're broken down the opening range. I anticipate selling to just continue here. Didn't quite get an opportunity to get into this. That was right on the open. Immediately open and sell off. So we missed that sell there. That's really what I was looking for at that overnight high. I really liked it one more bit up. I mean, we didn't quite make it into that range where I liked it to short. 330, I guess, was short last week, was that level. So maybe that was the key level, that 330 here. Could have been watching that a little bit more intently, but with that grinding pre-market level, just kind of grinding upside, we were wanting to see that. So now we're down into that 18,277, which is the base of that consolidation. We just kind of broke through it, flushed it. So another level that just kind of cracked. So with these key levels just cracking on me, I really do think that we do have some pretty decent sell side. Microsoft pushing down, won't have resistance until 422 if it does hold below the pre-market low. Though this pre-market support level. NVIDIA rejected 892 and is rotating down towards 877. Apple continuing its a little bit of a divergence with that NVIDIA. So as money flows out of NVIDIA, it flows right into Apple. And it's still playing today. You got that decent pop right here, trying to push above 175 in Apple. And then you also kind of have the disconnect with the market where Apple's kind of just not playing the same game. So we are going to be watching the divergences here. You can see S&Ps didn't quite make it down into the VWAP, right? I'm going to go to 1 I guess made it right onto it in the 1 minute. So we are pretty close to the same, but we got way higher up, right? This is the breakdown level here on the NQ. You broke down and you're way off of that now. You're only at the base of that level here. So on VWAP, at the base of some support, Could see a possible bounce on the S&Ps. That S&P bounce could give us a little bit of a rotation up to the previous day high, and then we're going to watch that previous day high to maybe get one of those divergences as well. Get a continuation play down through the VWAP. But with this kind of price action, the only entry I had was that immediate open. Like if I would have had a sell order sitting here on the open, I just don't like that, especially that first minute trade. I usually like to let it settle down. Usually that's a manipulation, so I don't want to be playing in it until I see what the manipulation is, and then I go off of that. But right now, just still flat. You can see the accounts are on the top. This is a live express. I'm funded with this. The gold. If you see gold, it means I'm in a funded account. If you see it's a white, then that's a combine. But these are our fundeds. Currently trading 250K funded accounts. And we're looking to just execute one good trade at a time. And that's where we're at right now. Looking to see. We got a little bit of a bounce on that S&P. You can see why is this VWAP bouncing around? That was a little odd. So I'm going to be a little cautious on what's going on with these indicators here. I don't like that. That's why I do have my amp. I like the levels on the amp. I like the delta. I got my VWAP that I'm pretty trusting on. And then I do have my depth of market here. I had an issue with my depth of market on the on Top Step. I paid for it, but I paid for apparently Rhythmic, and I needed to get a different depth of level 2s. So I was trying to cancel that one and open the other one, and the other one didn't want to open. So I'm waiting until closer to the first of the month to get my level 2s up on my Top Step X platform that you'll see that I execute on. Currently, price trying to pop its head back into the top end of this choppy consolidation. I do think that we got to watch that 18.3 level to see if that's going to go. The Russell is relatively strong compared to what you're seeing in the NQ and the ES. So I'm going to be kind of watching the Russell to see if it'll hold that strength, or if when the Russell starts to roll over, it's going to drag the S&Ps down and then Qs down, right? I did mention it once that S&P kind of bounced off that level, didn't quite make it to support. Didn't quite make it through that support there, while we did make it through, right? We broke down here, did not quite break down that low there. So could catch a bounce here, which brings us back to that previous day high. Going to watch this tilt. It's at 70%. If we can get higher up on that tilt a little bit more, maybe we get a flush of the 277. Which is that key level for me. I would like to enter that on, like, if we push up here, come back into this yellow line, this 280, come back up, try to make a new high, get a delta divergence here, right? Get this to push up, come back into VWAP, try to push up again, fail the breakout of the high, and then that's when I like to rotate down through a previous day's level, right? But right now, looking like we want to catch some strength. S&P is good. Russell ran into the top end and is kind of wick at the top a bit. If you're over on YouTube, head out over to that link in the chat or in the bio for tradecaster.com. They're running a special today. So if you're going to do your 7-day free trial, do it, but sign up for that double your money day. Today is the 2-for-1 special on Monday only. I'm pretty sure it's just today that he's running it. You buy 1 month, you get 2 months. You buy 6 months, you get a year. You buy a year, you get 2 years. And the lifetime membership, I believe he's doing a double. You could gift it to a friend, or you could do 25% off. So just go over there, check it out. Link is in the chat. Link is in the bio. I'm going to check on some of these equities. Microsoft caught a bounce. NVIDIA broke above that 892.23 level that I was talking about from the let's show you that. Broke above this dotted yellow line. Anything that holds up here now, I want to see rotate up to 900. That rotation up to 9 carries this NQ right back up to the upside, right? So anything on that NVIDIA, we hold that 277, continue this push up, and I'm really interested, like I said, I'm interested in that 360 area for the short. That would be a really nice setup for me if we could push this all the way up into that 360. Right, if we can get up in above this, pretty much today's high, we got this push down to VWAP, break above the overnight high. if you get a divergence and a failure above the overnight high, that failed breakout of the high of the day could give you a pretty decent sell setup come moving forward. But also, you got to be mindful because it could just continue to pump right straight through it. And as I mentioned, we do have up into that 18.5 if we continue on and hold above that 360. Yeah. So I just don't think we have much past that 18.5 today. Without any new information, without any real good, direction from whatever information we're getting. Like I said, it's a low red folder week, like a low volume red folder week. So it's not a ton of really new data points to look at for these algos and for the Fed ideas. So not a lot of new information. The hot ticket right now is that Israel-Iran information, right? So if we don't get any new information from that, then we're not going to be able to probably get much in the way of direction because they want to see what's going to happen with that. If nothing's going to happen, maybe you'll continue on, continue to grind higher. If you do start to get some attacks and whatnot, you'll get that initial push down. Obviously, then you're going to start getting some flows into those military stocks, defense sector stuff, and then maybe get more of a rally again. You get that initial dip on war concerns. However, like an Israeli war is a little bit more concerning than some of these other ones because we kind of are directly responsible. So the U.S. being directly responsible for that area might drag us into something that we don't want to be involved in. So that's going to kind of give our markets a little shake up, right? S&P's running right into that resistance right here, that 52.10. Pre-market high, overnight high, days high. I do like this pushing up into the overnight high and then hopefully failing it, and then I'll get a really nice move. Like I mentioned, it's Monday. We're not trying to just hammer into anything that just because. I don't think. Well, so the Russell failed to break that high. It broke the high and then it's starting to roll down. So it's kind of leading us today on the directionality, right? Because it dragged us up, and now we're kind of sitting in the middle here, waiting to make a decision. Nvidia pushing upside. I think it goes to 900 from here if it does hold, which doesn't seem like it doesn't. It doesn't seem like there's any reason for it to be failing these levels. It's middle of the range. Nvidia going upside. Microsoft also just kind of middle of the two ranges between 427 and 422. Closer to that 427 level. So if it pushes up and fails, then that helps this rotation down. So that'll help us push up to that overnight high. Maybe look for that failed breakout, divergence, rotate down. If that happens now, then I would be cautious on it. It was a pretty decent sell. Apple holding above 175. So looking to rotate. If it gets above 175, 176. I was going to say 175.85, but 176, that's that pre-market high. A pop of that could rotate us back into a bullish sentiment on Apple, which may roll some bears into Nvidia, which is that correlation has been really interesting to me of late. I'm going to keep Nvidia up on the screen because that's Big Daddy of late. Nvidia... Microsoft I'll put on the top just so I have it. I don't need my other levels. I know what they are. Where I'm looking right now. A failure of this. Right? I mentioned we go up, kind of fail it, get a delta divergence, right? We got up in here, we wicked the high. Didn't quite make a new high. Starting to push down. I want to see if they make a new high in price. And then if it fails and rotates down, then you might get that selling to come back in. But really, push down, you base out, you break down, get some shorts involved, continue your way back on to the upside. If you get above this high here, I would anticipate Delta to also start to push up. The old espresso day. But we are running into the 300, right? Right here. 310. delta heavy. Opening range low here is basically 300, so 299. You fail 300 again. This could be that rollover. Nvidia is still a little strong for me to want to short this right this second. Tilt is 50-50. I mean, it could be a heavier downside, but I don't know if we're going to get a good push, good flush yet. I don't feel like the timing is correct for me right now. That little wick of the previous day high might just be another manipulation right there. So I'm going to sit on my hands for a few minutes. I would rather be closer to the 360 or down through 277, below VWAP, into that purple area there and back up into VWAP, and then maybe look to short that. But yeah, I'm not really looking to do much at that area. Our overnight low is down here at 146, and the previous day low is at 120. I like to execute around those areas. I mentioned that I wanted to short that previous day high, but right now it just didn't feel like the right timing for it. I feel like VWAP still's got some strength to it, especially with the S&Ps failing to break through this 5202 level here, 5203. That's going to keep that NQ propped up. Until this level cracks on the ES, I think the NQ and VWAP kind of relate. VWAP is going to be some support here. Also with NVIDIA holding its bid. So NVIDIA holding its bid and Microsoft. Why is that NVIDIA? No, that's right. Microsoft is kind of just sitting in the middle of its range. So I don't have a ton of good directionality with these two names that's going to help me go in either direction. I need to see what happens with NVIDIA at around 900. Or if it fails 892 again, then maybe that'll drag us down. But still, like I said, I don't think the timing is correct. I want better timing. You got some volume that's a little lower, right? So still not ready to go. You start to see the volume tick up a bit, then maybe you're going to get to go 298, 278. Nice. Good job. You did have the delta divergence there, and I did like that short through 300, but I didn't think it was going to have the follow through that I wanted, like timing wise. So I didn't shoot it, but I like how you got it. Quick little grab. Take your money. Move on to that next one. Just for me personally, I didn't see the volume playing out. I didn't see the true good setup yet, and especially watching the S&Ps not cracking through key levels helps me stay out of something that's not going to follow through for me on the NASDAQ, right? So 98 to 78, 20 points. Can't go wrong there. Oh, I thought I finished my espresso. How dare I go back to this? Daytradingcoffeeco.com. You can see it scrolling across the bottom. Discount code Policing Pips for 15% off. Fueling your P&Ls. For me, it's keeping me out of the middle chop. I need this to set up a bit more. I do like the price getting accumulated right now, but like I said, NVIDIA is still catching that bid, I think, and it's running right towards 900 now. If NVIDIA can break and hold above 900, then we may have the overnight highs come into play again, and then we can have an idea around there to set up. And then if it doesn't set up for the short, then, like I said, it could rotate up into the highs at 414 and into 500. That's if NVIDIA just catches a strong bid. But Microsoft still just dead center of its little range from the day. So NVIDIA is the only thing that's really kind of holding it up. Let's see what Goog's doing. Goog is rotating downside. Meta caught a pop. Amazon broke the highs. And let's go Apple. Rotated below 175. So that's why NVIDIA is strong. And Microsoft and NVIDIA catching bids. That's why you have this NQ pushing up some. The S&P's holding below 52.10.50. If you get a breakout and a hold above here, you may get continuation on the S&Ps up into that 52.35-ish area, right? You can see that it based out above it and then failed it. If you start to catch that bid, like I said, could get there. If it fails this level, starts to rotate, make its new lows, then the follow through in that NQ should come into play. But Nvidia and Microsoft showing strength relative to everything else. And then also Amazon broke through those highs as well. So just watching some of these time and sales here as well, seeing what kind of size I start to see pump in here. I remember on Wednesday, I was watching and I mentioned that we were getting huge order sizes, and it helped me get into one of my trades, right? I said I was watching. You started to see 200, 300, 200, 300. I mean, we got a guy building into 1,000 lots come, up in these areas looking to catch shorts, right? It was all, and then you finally got a little bit of follow through on it. That guy was up a couple $1,000,000 if he was holding. So, you just want to follow along with some of those big fish. Nvidia right there and right to 900. As I mentioned, key level to key level. Nvidia, once it held above 892, you started to see that strength pour in. A couple nice, really green candles up to 900. Now you got to see, what does it do at 900? Does it push up into 906? Does it hold 9 and go up to 906? Or does it fail this break of 900 and grab some liquidity and start its sell side pressure? Because with these equities making lower highs here, the indexes, I don't know which is dragging which, right? Nvidia now through 900, now through 902, pushing up towards that 906. So if it gets up into 906, that's where I'm going to be really watching for that negative pressure to push in if there's going to be a seller. If not, Nvidia may look to catch its bid and do the Nvidia thing that it does, where it just goes and goes and goes and goes. 900 is that big round psychological number. 8:53 a.m. We've been open for just shy of 30 minutes. It's 8:54. 1 minute from now, I can no longer execute a trade until the hourly close. I like to wait for that 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock number to close, give you some hourly information, see where you close on that basis, because that gives you a bit of information. You get a little bit of manipulation come the closes as well. So I don't like to get in unless I have an A+ set up, right there, ready to go, and I know that, that next minute's going to get me. I will break that rule from time to time. However, we are not there, right? We are in between previous day high and overnight high. So we are right diddle in the middle here. We're nowhere near the 360 or the 277, right? So we're middle of those ranges as well. So right now, dead center, middle of my zones means do not trade. And I'm in the do not trade area currently, right? So we're going to watch Nvidia, see if it pushes up, gets us into that overnight high. If we get to that overnight high and crack it, which is the opening range high, fail it, and Nvidia gets to 906 around the same time and starts to show you a little bit of weakness up there at 906, if you see any sort of seller step in, that could be your indication, hey, now's the time to roll over and catch that overnight high down to that VWAP or even beyond, right? If we can hold it and if we can get a nice little strong move here. Really want to just see if there's going to come any information from the Iran-Israel stuff. That's going to be the main driver of any sort of directionality in this market. I think, right, like I said, if we don't get more of those, that news from those areas, you're not going to break out because we don't have a ton of economic data, right? Our economic calendar shows just today and tomorrow red folders, but the building permits and retail sales really don't move the market all that much. Retail sales a little bit more than building permits, and then the rest of these are just kind of 2-star events, oil, housing starts, Fed talks. This initial jobs claim may move us because it had some really pertinent information last week or when we had it last time. So, and you got a little bit of a move off of it, but I don't know for sure anything else that's going to kind of move us. Like I said, the main pressing factor right this moment, this week, is Israel-Iran. Okay? And then, like I said, you watch Nvidia, watch these Mag 7 names for your NQ. and then watch for your divergences between NQ, S&P. You know, you don't play this breakdown here. I mean, Ray caught it and just took his money and ran, but you know that you're not going to get this follow through here with the bounce in the S&Ps right at the base of that area where it hasn't broken out. If you don't get any breakdown of this, the NQ is going to do very similar stuff. So patience. Wait for the timing. Wait for the levels to get there. We are getting a little bit of a lower high, holding below 5210 here on the S&Ps. I really want this level to come up into the overnight high. I don't know if we're going to get there, though. That's my only question. I mentioned time and time again, I don't like to enter at VWAP. Also, what keeps me out of this is VWAP being below my key level. If VWAP could get up and above this green line here, or even above 277, right? If VWAP gets up there, then we come to it. Then my breakdown of the level is below VWAP, giving me a nice little tighter risk. So NVIDIA failing 900 here could drag us down, but that keeps me out of anything that I trade around VWAP. If I do trade around VWAP, if I'm looking for a short or if I'm running to the high side, right? Let's say we have this push down, we're chopping, we're consolidating. VWAP is acting as support. My level is acting as support, but VWAP is below us. So the short is invalidated because VWAP could still act as support and hold us up. So that, for me, keeps me out of that trade for now. Now, say we get that bounce one more time, and this yellow line, this VWAP, gets above that green line, then we break through that green line with a little bit of volume. I'm more convinced that now, okay, we're below VWAP, we broke our key level, volume should start to come in now, and I can limit my risk just above that VWAP area to give me a nice little push to the downside, to give me the conviction that, okay, this time it breaks through VWAP, it probably breaks through for real and continues down. But as long as that VWAP is supporting my support level, I don't take the long off of it, but it just keeps me out of the short. And just flip it over the other way. If we're going to come up into it, right, and that level, that VWAP is kind of, so let's say we're coming from the bottom right now, and we wanted to enter through the yellow line. I could enter through the yellow line long because it's above the VWAP. We've cracked that resistance. Now we're cracking my resistance, and that's a good reason to play a continuation. But it's another reason to just keep you out of a trade that possibly is just going to manipulate you around that VWAP. Especially pre-market, you were bullish. We ground up. NVIDIA is holding above 900. Microsoft still looking to push up into that 427 level. So there's still reasons for this to kind of continue and grind upside for now. But like I said, I do think that we are in a time period where we're just kind of waiting and seeing what's going to happen with the Iran-Israel stuff. So without any other data points, we're probably just going to stay range bound in that. If you go here on this NQ, right? I go back to last week, Monday, Tuesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Boom, 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 boom. Right between this 860 and 277. We kind of broke above it after we got some data, broke below, down into that 172, but we couldn't get out of, I mean, we had an expanding range here, but even the data that we got last week was pretty much just contradictory, pricing things in, getting some more information. You got that rollover on Friday, right back into that 172. 172, once again, access support. We get bid back up all overnight, even with the Israel-Iran concerns, which shows me that this 172 level is still a pretty strong area where people are willing to buy. So with that negative news and that uncertainty in the market, for 172 to hold still, I'm very cautious on a sell at this area quite yet until it decides that, all right, now it's the time to get through it. You start to see some size, you break through it, maybe you hold below, then more shorts are coming in there. Until that time, that 172 is going to be a key line in the sand. And I will look to get drawn to that area as well. If we can hold below this 277, I think it does drag us down right to that area. But realistically, based on last week, based on a ton of, chop I think we're going to get a lot of the same sideways type movement, right? We're grinding. This overnight move wasn't very clean. It was choppy, just ground upside. Wouldn't give you a ton of good information for any sort of move. But right now, dead center of these two zones, we haven't really gone anywhere today. This is basically right mid dead center of this opening range, that 1 minute candle. So we're dead center opening range, dead center of 360, 277. We've gone nowhere. The only trade that would have been available for me today was that very first minute entering short off the jump. Otherwise, I have nothing, right? I didn't enter anything. I have no executions. Let me just turn off or grab a switch. I'll be right back. Give me 1 minute. Alrighty. Back in action. Here we go. I'm glad, Ray, you caught that little bit of a move because I don't got nothing right now in these areas. I do like the way price is moving, kind of grinding up, giving us the uncertainty because once it does get to our area, I think that lack of conviction will put some buyers interested in this overnight high. They get trapped. That's really I want to see a trap. Although NVIDIA already got to 906 and we didn't get to that overnight high. So that also shows me weakness in the equities. The indexes. If you do hear any chatter in the background, I listen to Trader TV Live. It's just trade and stream. I like to no man's land, and that's the good thing about what I've been doing lately is sticking hard and fast to my major levels and giving my reasoning behind some of these moves to not play out. And then they have to kind of force my hand and put me into the trade. When I do that, my winning percentage on this account right now is like 80 something percent. I'm only catching basically 1-to-1s, little 2-to-1s here and there, and you can see it grows. Not looking to go crazy. If I catch a home run, I do. I'm really looking for those shooting the gaps and hitting doubles here. But right now I don't have a good setup. I do like this previous day high, but like I said, I can't enter a breakdown on it if I'm holding above VWAP. So if the VWAP's not above it, I'm not shorting this level yet. I like the failure of NVIDIA off of 906. Got a nice wick, so that might drive us down and through, and I might miss this through this previous day high down into that purple zone area, but I do think that the timing is still not there. I think even if you get through VWAP right now, I don't think you get the follow through. You're still lower volume. This previous day high is holding. It's trying its best. NVIDIA now trying to push back up into 906, so you should get a little bit of a rotation back up to the higher end again. I like that heaviness on this, but I just don't trust it yet. I need this VWAP up over this green line. If I could get VWAP over that green line, then I can possibly look to, if I do want to use this as a setup, I want to use it at that point. You can see how strong VWAP's been holding, and the S&Ps as well. You can see this level at 5303, 5303 even holding 5303 quarters. Yeah, if it goes now and it sells off, I just have there's no entry for me. 277. If it holds below 277, then maybe, because then that'll be below the VWAP area. Going back to the Tradecaster meetup last week, it was a fantastic meeting. If you didn't come next time. You're going to come out and have great conversation. It's a bunch of just real traders talking about trading, having a good time, and and building a nice community. It was a great time meeting a lot of people over there and picking some people's brains that you wouldn't normally get to talk to, while you're streaming and whatnot. It's starting to get heavy here. That is a nice little crack of that. Volume is starting to tick up on that break. What's Delta doing? Lower high, lower high, lower high. Broke through the low, made a new low, made a new low. So it's acting in congruence there, but we didn't make a new low here yet on price. But Delta's trying its best to break through, so you might get some heaviness through that 290. However, I still think with that VWAP holding below, you're not going to get the follow through yet. Russell did fail, and it is leading to the downside. S&P's failed its opening range, rotating down. So I'm going to watch this 277 level. If we can hold below it, I look to short 277. But if we can't, then I will not be here. But you can see S&P just broke that level. So 277, a breakthrough, 277 could limit my risk above there. So there's the break at 277, starting to tick up on volume. I'm going to look to see if I'm going to give it a second. I'm going to let it close. Damn it. All right. So now we're below VWAP, below 277. If we come back into that 277 level, possibly looking to short it, but I missed it on that entry there. I was talking it through, but it's still just kind of middle of this area. The only reason I was going to take the 277 short, which obviously you can see played out really nicely, was the being below the VWAP, right? And I didn't take it again. So that's another, just kind of held myself out. I waited for the timing. Timing came, and we missed it. So it's all right. Yeah, it's not important. It's that 277 level that I was really interested in. Right down to purple, so 277 down to 247. 30 points. That's all I was looking for anyway. But it could get heavy fast here now. NVIDIA failed 900. S&P's broke through its VWAP. But now I'm not in any sort of zone. So if I come back up into 277, I will look to see what kind of, if it gets up in here and fails the VWAP to push back upside, I will set a sell order at 277. Because I think if you do, I think 172 does come back into play. 200 has to break though. 208, 200, 208. You can see support here from the overnight. So if we do catch a bounce up into this area, right into here, then the next break of this could go. But that looks like it's really heavy right now. Kind of talked myself into taking the trade. Was about to execute it, and it just ran over before I could get into it. It was a little slow. Mondays, I tend to be a little bit more cautious than the other days of the week. Damn. Apple holding below 175. NVIDIA pushing. I want to see if it'll pop 900 again. Microsoft rolling, but it still has down to 424, which it's pushing into right now. That's the pre-market low, support area. Obviously, the pre-market low is below 422. Hot damn. That was a great short. If you took it, I hope you did, because, I was just, it kept me out on the short of the Friday's high. I wanted that 277 short. I just didn't quite get myself into the position to click and enter. I was going to mark it in, but I don't like to mark it in. I like to get myself, obviously stop orders are markets, but yeah, I didn't quite get it. So no worries. There will be another. I saw S&P's breaking through its level here, right? So once S&P's crack this low, that gives you the confidence to take this short. Like I said, of course, I missed that entry, so we're going to just be patient on this, see what happens at 200, see if we get a bounce. I do think down into 177, 172, that's going to be a bounce area. If we can get all the way into that overnight low, I'm going to be very interested in rotating back the other way. So still got good opportunities coming in. If we do get to that overnight low, previous day low area, get a divergence and see if we can rotate the other way. Right now it's a heavy short tilt, 80%, but I do think that that's probably not any really good indication because we are pretty heavy right now. 180 right here for S&P is pretty important. Damn. What a good trade there that would have been. 277 is VWAP now. So like I said, that was the entry point that I was looking at. And we were looking to rotate it down to through 40s and down below. You can see the bounce at 200 there, key psychological level. There was a lot of confluence here for the short. Like I said, I wasn't ready to take the short of the previous day high, but if we could get through 277 while VWAP is above 277, you could see why that now became that area where it would go, right? If you're above VWAP, it's holding, your level is holding. Once you're below VWAP, your area is, your entry could be more valid, and you'd be able to limit your risk, right? 277 was my entry. Here, if I got filled at 275, let's say 276, you're not even risking 10 points to be pretty safe there. So you risk to reward there was pretty nice. But you limit your upside risk. It's a cheap trade. You have a good reasoning behind it, and then you're going to look to catch that short to the downside. But I'm glad I talked it out. I just didn't quite catch it, and I'm going to just mark it here, notate to myself that I missed this. I'm going to just watch it. What's this? Arrow marker. Watch this level. Yeah, like I said, $277 break. I did mention this like coming in, right? Like I mentioned this as the reason I didn't take the break of the previous day high, right, was because VWAP is here. Break the previous day high, and you bounce off of VWAP. Same, you hold it because you're holding above VWAP. You get heavy, you get through it. The real key level for me, like I was mentioning beforehand, was 277 for me. So 277 now, once you finally get to here, VWAP poked its head above 277, and I was looking for the entry right there. I just didn't quite get myself to click the right click, stop, sell. I wanted to kind of mark it in, but I just didn't. This would have been a very valid A+ type setup around the VWAP, right? I'm normally not a huge VWAP entry person, but this confluence of being below it at your key level then gives you that added ability to limit your risk, because if it gets back above VWAP, then it's probably going to rotate all the way up, and you can just bang out for a small loser and look for your next idea. So that's why that has become an idea for my playbook. I think that's the one reason that I didn't execute there, is because normally I'm looking for that overnight high, overnight low fade, and the VWAP has been keeping me out. So anything around it, I normally am not staying in, but I'm talking this through today, and last week I mentioned it as well. This play here, this idea is the better VWAP play for me. I know a lot of people play the bounces or whatever, but for me, waiting for the VWAP to confirm, be above or below the area that's important to you, then you could execute off that area with a bit more confidence, and that would be my new play that I'm adding to my playbook. So yes, I could be annoyed at myself a little bit for, I was literally 1 second to, right at a point where I was about to execute, and I didn't do it. Really what I like to do is have this set up, set my order, and then let it happen, right? If I'm hammering, if it's getting to a level where I want it to be and I have to hammer it, I usually get myself into some trouble because I'm hammering into something that I'm a little bit not ready to, it wasn't totally planned out, right? It was planned because I did plan it as it started to approach it here. I just wasn't certain if it was going to be below VWAP or not. So that's another reason why I was just like, that little bit of a hesitation. That little hesitation, it'll cost you money, but it'll also keep you out of bad trades. So that's really what I was looking at there. Fine by me missing it, but just reviewing it for adding this play to the playbook, right? So I'll just notate that. I mentioned this to a few people at the meetup, right? A lot of people will notate things, they'll draw lines, they'll draw levels, but then they won't annotate it. They won't say why they put that line there, right? They just have a level and there's no reason for it. It's just a level. If I have levels that are drawn, I know that they're price points. If I have things that I draw arrows into, or if I'm circling something, if I annotate it, then I know what it is, right? And also with my lines here, I color them differently, but what if I forget blue is overnight high and green is previous day high? I just write what it is, and now I see it, and I don't have a ton of stuff on my chart, so it's not going to get muddied up. And then once I do review this later, this 277 break, maybe I delete it, but maybe I leave it there for the week so I can come back to it and be like, oh, okay, 277 is important. Why? Well, right here, that's why. And then it's been an important level for such a long period of time. We've come back into it. Now let's say we break above previous day's high and you get a break kind of push back down into VWAP, hold VWAP. Then now you can look to see, all right, I could break this previous day high up into overnight highs for the long idea. So that's where this now comes into play, right? If the VWAP is now below here, you've manipulated down into this low. However, I do think that the shorts are probably more likely at this point. But that's another idea for this previous day high, if that's something that you want to play. If it gets back above VWAP, back through this previous day high, and then holds VWAP, and you can get another entry where it kind of diverges downside, and you can play the break. That'll give you a better confluence, right? The timing of it to push through that level at that point, because the VWAP is below your target, your level, right? Even the 277 now, VWAP is now below it. So you can use that area as an important zone. Maybe you get up into previous day high, you push down into the VWAP. Maybe you could cheat your entry because of being above that area. But right now, not playing it. Going to wait for the overnight low or the overnight high to come back in, or that kind of setup that I just mentioned to come play out. Unless we get a really hard push up into 77. And then we can maybe sell below the low here. Really, all I want to be able to do is provide the value to you to be able to make your decisions around levels. I hope that, Ray said he took this short. That's a great short if you're going to just take it and take the points and run. Like I said, the timing of it all was beautiful, right? I thought you're not going to break it this time. S&P still holding up. Probably not going to break it this time. Same here. Then you're getting this higher low here. Maybe you get that push up into the overnight high. You never quite get there again. The next push down, you got the break of the low. Then you actually finally get the break of VWAP, the break of that 77, and now you're pushing down. So I want to see maybe we get another little pop here. Could maybe short the low after the failed breakout above. But that's just going to be a quick little grab if it pushes up in and you can sell it. Delta is not pushing down as heavy as price, right? Price pushed up, Delta based out, price pushed up, price is now rolling over. So it's trying to make the low here. Maybe it doesn't get that follow through until you start to see that selling pressure. So S&P is also looking to push lower. Russell pushing lower. And we're right below the value area here, the volume profile. Value area low here is 233, 230. Now we just cracked through it. NVIDIA holding below 900. Still flat on the day. No executions yet for me. I'm not trying to start my week off by forcing anything. I buy? I didn't buy anything from Google Play. I hate when things like that happen. It's my Google storage. All right. Like I said, I'm really just kind of hanging out here. The levels are out of play at the moment, so I'm just being patient. Nvidia failing 900, pushing hard. A little bit of, it's not a heavy volume though, so I'm not sold on that sell. What? That's not what I want. I want this. Amazon, Meta, AMD, and other tech stocks focus on today. Samsung secures $6.4 billion for Texas chip factory after Nvidia supplier breakthrough. Okay. Let's see what happens after this thing kind of consolidates now down here at the lows. Do we make look for a break of that 200 level like right here? If this starts to hold, if you get another push up, failure, you start to see S&P's was the leader right on the breakdown. The NASDAQ tried, couldn't do it without the help of the S&Ps. So that's something that you got to be watching both, right? It does help to watch both if you are trading one or the other, right? Because there is divergences, there is money flows that go in and out of both. High or low in delta, high or low in price. Could look to see the rotation back up. Above VWAP, above key levels, you could look for longs. Holding below VWAP, then through key levels, could look for the shorts, right? Just keeping it simple. Giving yourself a defense line that, keeps you in or out certain things. If I get to my overnight low now, right, then that's a different story. If I get to my overnight low, get the little divergence, I'm looking to rotate back to VWAP, and I use VWAP as a target. But when you're at these levels that are kind of closer to it, you look, maybe if you're looking to say, all right, we got this grind up, sold off the initial opening bell, right? Sold off, based out, created that higher low, cracked through it. Now doing it again, based out. Are you going to continue downside? Is it more likely now because it is below VWAP? Yeah, probably. The crack of the 208 level maybe gives you that push down to the 177, down one to 72. If Nvidia can push up into 900 again and give you a little failure on it, then maybe look to get this up into here to short it. But if Nvidia does get above 9 and hold, and Microsoft bounces off 422, the rotation to the high side comes back into play. And like I said, without any new data from these news releases, these economic numbers, right? There's very little red folder information this week. You get a lot of sideways action. You don't get a lot of manipulation from the algorithms. So you're going to be looking for headlines, right? You're looking at these headlines, and you're also looking to see what's going to be happening with this Iran-Israel stuff. That's what's going to be the most important. I'm not going to subscribe right now. But this is the market driver right now. They're saying that it's largely thwarted. You can see we pushed into this area here on Friday that we got, right, the 208. We got a decent bounce on it, came back to it, failed it that second time. So if you could get to it again, with a less, this is a pretty decent push up side. So if it doesn't push up that high and holds below that purple, gets below that 208, you could probably get, like I said, down into that overnight low, which is that 146. I think 172 is more likely, though. So that shorter target of 177. Microsoft's right at 422, could get a bounce from this area. So that might give us a little bit of a pop here with Microsoft right at that low. Unless it cracks and flushes, then you're going to be looking at downside down to 420 even. Nvidia holding lower, so maybe this does give us a little bit of a push. I want to see 5181 break, which probably will give us that confirmed break of 208. If 81 breaks, 208 could break. Just sell one here through 208 if it wants to go. If it doesn't want to go, then we'll be stopped out. This I'm not looking for a huge move, but I want a quick break here, and then I'm going to trail it tight with the 51.81 trying to break right now. I think that the NQ will try and break this 208. The 200 is going to be concerning to me, but if we can flush 200, could be that quick little snap to that 177 if it does break and hold. That's what I'm trying to look for right now. So that's my my idea here. Right underneath it, 206. This is just going to try and play that continuation, break down through another just key level there, down, just playing a quick little catch if I can get it. If not, if it's going to hold 5181 over there on the S&Ps, then I don't think the NQ goes. But if ES breaks 5181 with some pressure, you probably get so Delta trying to hold up. I think if you get a good Delta breakdown right here, you start to really push downside pressure a bit more. You can see it's dancing around. Price is speeding up a little bit. 929. Market's about to be open for 1 hour. If it holds here, Microsoft did bounce off of 422. Nvidia curling up to 900. Let's see what happens at 930. If we get up into that 940, I might cancel this. I wanted to see if that was the time it was going to go, which it seems like it's not. We may rotate back up. What time we got? 28. You can see Delta now giving you a nice little push up. And that's the close of that half hour. Market's been open for 1 hour. And we've gone south side just a bit. Holding below VWAP, holding below 277, looking to rotate to 172. I want to see if I could get this part of the continuation down to 177. Yeah, there's definitely divergence in the two right now. We'll see what ends up happening with this. I think actually Microsoft caught that bounce right off of 422, so this is going to be invalidated. I'm canceling that right now. Nvidia cracked above 900, and like I said, Microsoft, you can see right here, Microsoft wicked off my 422 level pretty nicely and caught that bounce, and then Nvidia right there pushing up over 900. So these are the things I'm watching as far as, is this going to get heavy? I think S&Ps do lead us. If S&Ps cracks that 5181, then you do get a little bit of a heavier push downside. But holding this level here, holding that level here at 81 and a quarter is keeping our head above water above this 208 line. So, unless Nvidia just melts off right here, then we might not may not get an entry on that short there. We're going to look to see what kind of rotation we get from this. Like a failed breakdown on this, get some shorts involved. Tilt's getting a little long, 56%, nothing crazy heavy long. I do think there's, like I said, it's going to be very rangy. Lack of data. Now also you're getting some thoughts that Israel was able to squash the threat from Iran for now. So potentially could lead to some strength, but realistically, until there's another attack or another something that pushes us. Then we might just stay either rangy or just grinding in a direction. And if we're gonna grind, we're gonna grind down. It seems right. Made that overnight high, leg down, base, leg down, basing again below VWAP. The likely idea here would be the short, but like I said, if we kind of start to rotate up with lack of any sort of direction, you could get back above 277, push into 360, and just stay within that range that we were in last week. Middle of my range, not doing nothing. If we get up to 277, the only concern is you get up to 277, the VWAP is now below it. It could crack through and up. Then you get that continuation through to the upside. Apple looking to break above 175. If Apple breaks above 175, Nvidia might look to rotate down a little bit and fail 900. Like I said, they've been sort of inversely correlated. It seems like once money flows out of Apple, it flows into Nvidia and vice versa. Sometimes they act together, but right now it doesn't seem that way. It seems like they kind of diverge a bit. So that's a nice little liquidity area, that purple line. That is resistance, 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 support, support, support. It's from last week. It's an important level from last week, so we are watching it for that level. It's in that area there. 220. Still like this 208 for that flush area kind of idea. There's the 81 quarters. If 81 quarters goes, then 208 goes. That's where my short will be valid. Supporting that 81 quarter. Once again, Nvidia looking to holding, looking to keep that 900 level. Watching this 81. If the 81 goes, then 208 goes, I think, and then 200 goes. And then we get down to 172. Then that's when I start to decide if that's going to be a bounce point from the overnight low. Nvidia is going. S&P is looking to go. Could cheat this level and go down short now at 20. But I'm not going to do that. Going to stick to the short through 208. Going to give you the old waiting for the alert to pop off. There's the alert. Just in case we do stop into this, you're going to get that little siren action. Or not. Either one. It's not going to work. It's gone. I don't know what's going on with it. All right. There we are. Set up alert. Set up alert. Not in anything yet, but I am watching this level to crack. So I'm throwing this level alert out there. I'm not going to cancel it in a second. And cancel it for now. Catching that bid off at 81 quarters, holding really, really nicely on the NQ. I mean, on the S&Ps. Yeah, I agree. Crazy. I don't think that. Like I said, I think it's going to be a very sideways action kind of week for now until you get any sort of news break on the war type front. Um, I think that's good observation. I mean, it's just crazy that people buy up markets like this, but they do. They buy where they think it's valuable to them, and they don't, you know, they're not looking to get caught in a short trap. But I do think this crack at the 208 comes in. And see, we now broke the 51.25. This should induce some selling here in the NQ. So using the break of that level on the S&Ps, we broke that low. Hopefully we could at least get down through this low here. So we are going to go short on this if it does crack this level here. So there we are. We are filled. We are short. We're going to risk 250 on it. And we're going to look to see at least to take it down to this level. But I want to see if the overnight low will get tagged. I want to get through this low. If we can get through that low, then or get close to it, then potentially look to get to even. Going to trail it kind of quick. Using the S&Ps as our leader, right? You can see broke below that area and is trying to hold it. NVIDIA's rolling over. Should still be valid here. I'm giving it a little bit of room. And that's if it's going to pop here, it's going to pop. And then we're going to get stopped. But I do think that the flush should come in. The timing is better for this short here. So let's see if we can get a little bit on it. There we go. There's the flush. Going to go to even. So now I'm at break even. Now I see how far down I can take it. If we can crack this low here, I'm going to start to trail that above 200. We're getting right to that level there. So we're above 200. Looking to continue this downside pressure right through that low. S&Ps is going. NQ is going. Let's go, baby. Give it to me. Push. We waited for it. We waited for it. We waited for it. We got a little pop action on it. Waited for the NQ, the S&Ps to break first, and then we got out. So up 212 on it. Caught that low. I'll take that for now. My first shot on the day. I want to flatten, make sure there's no orders out there. So we're good. We're up 212.20 currently. Very nice. We'll throw our little trade idea here. We shorted this candle there. Could it still continue on? Yeah. It could be, but I don't trust follow through at the moment. So I'm going to take that. And then I'm going to look for my A+ setup down there at the overnight low if it gets there. 50.87 on the downside for the week. Yeah, that could be. I mean, that sounds for the ES. That's not out of the realm of possibility for sure. Right there with the NQ, without the break of that low and the hold, I wanted to go quick there. It didn't go. So trade one of the week, another W. Short one at, what was our actual order? Our order got filled, or our trade got filled there at 18,206 quarter. All right, we were patient. We waited for it to come in, got our short right there, and then we got out down here for that win at 195 and 50 cents. So the coordinates is 195.50. Good thing we got out there. We definitely saw we made 212.50 after commissions. Take that every day. Give me $200 a day every day on something like that. And now we just look for the next one, right? Having the failure there, though, is interesting to me because the S&Ps is holding that below that 51.81, but it's dancing around with it. 17,835 on the downside for the week for the NQ, according to the market maker levels. 835. Damn. For the week, huh? Oh, I mean, I guess really if you do crack through. So my key levels on the NQ. Breaking my balls. I dig the name. So here we go. So yeah, I'm gonna answer your last comment first. The volatility is crazy on NQ, but I use it to my advantage, right? Obviously, you saw I was able to just kind of grab $200 there quick. You can see the manipulations start to happen. You can see order sizes, order blocks kind of run in and run out. I watch this manipulation. I love to use it to my advantage. That's why I like to trade the NASDAQ, because when I'm right fast. And when I'm wrong pretty fast as well. So I'm able to kind of use that volatility to my advantage because I have a short-term horizon viewpoint on my executions. I want to be right, and I want to be right and let it go, right? I kind of was able to understand, based on the way NQ reacts a lot of the time, that if it breaks this low here, if it was going to continue on, it was going to go, right? NQ just, when it does crack levels like that, it usually will manipulate much lower than something like how it just did, right? If it cracks a previous low, it'll usually whip pretty hard. For it to not want to go through that low told me that it's probably going to give you a little bit of a change in direction, and that's when I trail my stops. Like, you can see how I trail my stops and how I get myself. I don't set myself hard real targets because NQ has the ability to be so volatile that it can go. So now that we broke through it here, this 208, we could have re-entered there and tried to catch a short and actually get the follow through on it due to the ES holding below its key level, right? So the ES holds levels a lot cleaner. The NQ will go up and above, but it also gives you the opportunity, right? If it gets back above that level and S&P is holding it, for another re-entry with a little more follow through, and then you have an area where you can limit your risk, right? Now that you have where it manipulated to. If it doesn't follow through here, then maybe you can roll out. Yeah, that's really all. I mean, if you play it the only way you could play it differently, in my eyes, with the NASDAQ is if you have like unlimited capital and unlimited drawdown, because the NQ just turns and it manipulates and it goes. So if you don't just take your money and go, or, like, yes, I have my targets, but I also understand that it could flush, right? So I do have the ability to catch a home run on it if it wants to just melt off. If I hit my entry and it just goes and goes and goes and goes, I'll trail my stops. But I have realistic targets for the most part. My trail usually has to coincide with some of the key levels. So if I get tagged out on a manipulation at 77, let's say, or just how I just did, right? I still make $200. I make $400. I make $800. As you get through, you just have to continue to secure it, and then just look for the next one. And then you're not over trading it, right? You're waiting for it, hit it, go, get it, and then on to the next. And then just wait. As a baseball player, my entire life, I was getting myself into trouble. Like I've told people in the past on the stream, as an athlete, I hated losing way more than I liked to win. And it was like it's a difficult thing to deal with as a competitor. Like when you start playing at higher and higher levels, you start to really feel that, like, I really just hate losing. It just feels way worse than winning. So taking that into trading, that's a terrible mindset, right? Because you're going to lose, and you're going to lose a lot. So instead of taking it as game by game, right? This is not, every entry is not a game. I take it as an at-bat. And then if you could take it as at-bats, as a baseball player, and then even so, I'm only taking 1 or 2 at-bats, 3 at-bats in a day on these trades. So I got to pick my pitch, wait for my setup, look for a pitch up in the zone, and I'll take a swing. And if I strike out on it now, I have my next at-bat. But I save, I have to have enough bullets in the gun to be able to have that next at-bat. So I don't mind striking out. If I'm looking for a pitch, I get the pitch that I want to hit, and maybe I hit it hard, but I'm out, right? Or if I strike out because the pitcher makes a good pitch on something I, was looking for, then, he executed and I got out, and it is what it is, right? So taking it as more an at-bat to an at-bat as opposed to game by game, you don't hate to lose because you're not losing. You just struck out that at-bat. You just got out at that at-bat. You could be 0-for-3 in a game and get up in the 9th inning and get that big hit, and then everybody forgets about that 0-for-3, and that 1-for-4 feels pretty good. So that's why I like to take it like that. And if I could put that mindset on trading, then that's been helping me a lot lately. So just taking my base hits, taking my walks, and then taking my strikeouts as they come. They've been coming very few and far between lately, You could see on our performance chart, because right now I'm going to try and avoid hammering back into this trade. You're starting to get a little bit of just flattening out price action. We took the biggest volume break, right? That was the largest volume here. We broke down the key level. We're not getting the same volume. You're getting diminishing volume on this, so you might not get that real push down. You might grind and drift down, but the volume has kind of disappeared. So you may start to drift back up some. These levels are kind of just, we're here. I think 172, like I said, is the bounce point. So if we do get into that 177, 172 area, I don't know if my overnight low comes into play or not, but we're going to watch it. If we're not getting hard follow through 172, then, and we do get into the overnight low, then I'm going to look for that divergence play, rotate it back to the high side. I think we do stay range bound with the lack of information for the week. But you can see we did that continuation type play from the early on in the day. That's really all it is. It could be. It definitely could be. With that break of that overnight low, could be the end of it. But like I said, with the lack of so you got to kind of understand why it's doing what it does, and if you can give yourself a better why, right? Breaking my balls, bro. Then you can kind of understand if it's going to do something a little bit bigger or not, right? So if we're looking at, let's go with, we're on my levels, right? So this is my key level chart. I'll go back to the 30-minute because that's what I like to look at with this. You can see this 172 level, we have flushed it, but we recovered it. We sat in this area, came back down to it, bounced directly off of it. Same here, kind of just trying to flush it, recovered off of it, came back up. Same deal here, bouncing off that 172.50. It's a zone, right? It's not a key level. It's not an exact science, right? So down into 130, down into 120, into that 100 area, even down into 18,000 could act as support. But realistically, you could see the recovery from this 172.50 level for the time being. If you get the big flush of the low here, then maybe you rotate down into 27, but we don't have a ton of information. We are still in uncertainty mode with the Fed, with rate cuts and everything, which does give this more downside pressure. I've been bearish for a while. I'm unfortunately, I wasn't able to be trading Thursday and Fridays, but these were really good opportunities for me to catch good shorts. But for us to break out of this kind of consolidated range that we've been in, we need more information. And until you get like a definitive, we're not cutting rates, or yes, we are cutting rates, then this is going to kind of stay in this, I think, this area, this zone. If you get news from the Iran-Israel conflict, then that may also break you down. But if it's just a breakdown of my overnight low, we might get to the previous day low. We may start to rotate into 18,000. I just don't know if we have enough pressure or enough information to get market makers involved in flushing the 18,000 level. I think, it's very difficult to say that there's anything that's going to drive it down there other than this just continuing to be a sell setup, kind of a slow grind downside. NVIDIA bouncing, selling off from 900, giving you that divergence down through 900. That also gives you a bit of information. But NVIDIA is still up in its highs, and what's been driving this market upside has been purely NVIDIA, right? Everything has been dragged up from the NVIDIA, pretty much from earnings. Oh, my bad if there's the alert. I apologize. Sorry about that. I did not mean to do that. I must have hit the button. No alert, no trade, lo siento. I did not mean to do that. We are up, though. I got to set my hotkeys a little bit better because apparently that should not have done that. What was that hotkey for that? Control 3. Yeah. Accidentally hit that button. So you might get this flush down now, right? Get that final breakthrough. You did get a little tick up in volume here. Not quite breaking. But I am going to watch the overnight low for a divergence, see if it'll give a fake out. That's really what I'm really looking for. I want to fake out on the overnight low, fake people into getting shorter, and then rotate it back high side. That's my true setup there. Breaking my balls. But I like your thought on it. On NQ or on the S&Ps? On SPY? I'm not the best at these the YouTube chats. It's not so easy to do. As far as the emotion, well, I don't know. If you are over on YouTube, check out the Tradecaster lobby. It's 7-day free trial. You get everything over there for 7 days free. But today he's doing a 1 day only double your purchase sale. So you can get, if you buy 1 month, you get 2 months. If you buy 6 months, you get a year. If you get a year, you get 2 years. And if you get a lifetime, I believe you get a second lifetime to gift to a friend. Or I believe you can get 25% off yours. So just check it out. Click the link in the chat or in the description of the week of the stream. Couldn't think of the word. So yeah, we're out here up to 12.20 on one trade on the day. If you're new here or if you've been here and I switched up since the last time you've been here, you can see on the very top of the screen, you're going to show the account that I'm currently trading. It's going to be live, real time. You're going to see the numbers change up here. I am trading on the Top Step X platform. I'm funded with 250K accounts, so $100,000 worth of funding right now. So we got two accounts here. If you see this gold, it means I'm trading in a funded account. Currently, you can see our balance. We are up since we have this account since April 1st. We're up 1608 even. This is your max loss limit. So once this number gets to zero, it'll never change. It'll never go to over zero. That's just the buffer that they give you. It's a $2,000 max drawdown. So currently like I said, we're up. That won't change until the end of the day. Right now it's at 400. So it's nice. It's not an intraday drawdown. So let's say we decide for some reason to give back a bunch of this number won't change until your end of day. This is your realized, this green box here. If I was red, it would be red. If I'm green on the day, it's green. We're up to 12.20, which now this day, if we do no more, we're eligible for our withdrawal. So I'm not withdrawing until this is buffered over $2,000. Everything over $2,000, then we're going to start to peel out some payouts. So we'll go over the payout system as well with some of our education. It's really cool to show that and give you the realization that you can do it. It's possible. This gray box here is your unrealized P&L. So if I'm in a position, this top box will be bouncing around. This green box will not, because that's all realized, right? So unrealized P&L will bounce around. And then this box here with this little bar, that is your daily drawdown limit. So max drawdown on the 50K accounts on a daily basis is $1,000. If you hit that $1,000 drawdown, you get locked out of your account. So you'll see a bar here that kind of goes up and down as you're in drawdown. There's one more button here. Oh, you can see it now, I believe. It's the lockout button. This button here, if I believe that I'm not going to make any more trades on the day, or if I do not want to make any more trades on the day on that account, I hit that button and it'll lock me out of the account, keep me from trading this until the next day. There may be a way around of getting out of it. I know that there are ways to do it in, let's say in Trade of 8, there are lockout buttons, amounts and stuff, but you can kind of override it if you know what you're doing. I don't want to know I don't want to know how to override this. If I hit that button, I've hit it every single day since I've had that button, and it's helped me out tremendously. I'm trying to have my max daily loss limit for myself personally to be 500, give or take, 2 full losses of 250. I normally won't hit that on 2 straight trades. And if I do, then I'm locking myself out, and then we're on to the next day, right? Today, if we don't see this push into the overnight low or into an area where we're really interested in a level to trade, then we will hit that lockout button come 11 o'clock. I end my stream at 11 o'clock every day, give or take, a couple minutes, depending on setups. But if I see that there's not going to be the ability to get this setup or close to it, and I'm up, right now I'm up $200, I'll lock myself out, come time, and then I'll either move over to the other funded account, or I just won't be executing at all the rest of the day. It depends on the setups and whatnot. So that's where I'm at with what that lockout button is. That's the description of what you see on the top of the screen there. I had it scrolling like I have the Day Trading Coffee Co. website on the bottom. I used to have a P&L on the top and a position board, but it really didn't work because I was typing in what I was doing after the fact. I wasn't able to focus on my trades. With this, you can see it across the top. And if we go over to our performance stats for now, you can see our daily balance has grown steadily up and to the right, and that's the goal, right? There's our daily stats. Since the inception of this, last week we did not trade Thursday and Friday because we were traveling up to New York for the Tradecaster meetup, and which was well worth the trip. I mean, met everybody from Tradecaster and everybody that was out there, had a great time. We had a blast at 235th. We met up on Saturday, did some good stuff. Just look out for some news come soon from the Tradecaster community. But you can see right here, since April 1st, this is our P&Ls for the week. And you can see the only day that we really traded too much was the loss day. So if you can understand that the days that you trade more, when you're over trading, you're more likely to get yourself into a hole and hit your personal loss limit. But I did lock myself out, and I mentioned on Tuesday that week that if I'm going to make a turn in my trading and I'm going to start doing well, my ability to do what I did on that Monday, where I was down the amount that I said I was going to be down and lock out, giving myself the ability to, over the next 2 days, to make it back and then some. Really, like I said, that's going to be the turning point in my mentality, right? Because if you can lock out and not hit out on your loss limit, like that full drawdown, then you'll never really get yourself into big trouble. Because like I said, I only try to make 1 or 2 really good executions a day. And if I can hit off on one of them, it's going to make back that loss and then some. So, we're looking at our largest day so far is 562 and our largest drawdown is 526. So, and that's only one day, right? So if we could cover our biggest day with one of our, right now our biggest winning day is 562. I've had, multiple days of over, 1,000, 2,000. So one of those days should be able to cancel out these. But right now we're just trying to take this account slow until we get up over that $2,000 buffer. Then we'll start adding contracts. We'll start, showing you how you can compound and grow one of these prop firm accounts, right? So that's this account, and then we only have one trading day on this other account, and that was last Wednesday, but that was our first day in the account. And so this is our performance stats, just trying to show full transparency of what we got going on here. Right now, doing not much of anything, waiting to see if this overnight low comes into play, right? So if this overnight low now comes in, right, 172 is that next level that I'm looking for. So we do have down into 120, that previous day low. I want to watch this. I want to see if it's going to break the overnight low, give me a divergence on delta, right? You see, price is moving downside, delta is moving up. We are diverging here, right? This is what you look for in a divergence. You look for this, and you look for this, right? You see price downside. Obviously, this is not an exact, you're just showing that price is moving down, delta is moving up. If we get to our overnight low, right here, which we might not get to because 172 is my key level, right? So if we bounce off of 172, I missed it, right? Too bad. But I'm looking to see if we can get a divergence here, push down into it, and then pop it up. That's my A-plus type setup. Overnight highs and overnight lows, fading the extremes, and going back from there. But sitting up 212, we give ourselves an opportunity to buy ourselves one more good trade on the day. If it doesn't set up perfectly, then we don't have to take it. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Don't force things. Let it happen. Let it come into play. NVIDIA rolled to pre-market support. If it cracks it, then, probably go to day's low. Then you might get into this area here. If not, NVIDIA bounces. If Microsoft bounces, if an Apple catches any sort of bid, then maybe. Microsoft is holding below 422. But Apple now trying to break above 175. So NVIDIA bouncing some too. Want to see if we can get down into this overnight low. I want to clean that up. I would have loved to get that short there, this 277 break. We talked about it. We were a couple seconds away. We just didn't get it planned out. That really would have been probably the one and done trade of the day. Also the opening range breakdown, but we didn't get enough of a setup within market hours to be able to execute on that short at the open. So we did. You can see it right here. It just opened and dumped. I didn't get a chance to even wick the overnight high, do anything like where it was manipulative. And I don't like to enter directly on this candle because you do get that manipulation and then it rips, rocks, and runs the other way. So I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for some sort of, manipulation. If this candle, maybe it was one candle over, if that was on the open, then maybe we catch that dump. But we just couldn't catch it. Maybe the break of 30, just trying to review it in your head. You are still trying to make lower highs here. See if we could grind this all the way down to the overnight low. A grind down to a key level to me is pretty good, but I want to see some manipulation around that level. That's the only way I'm going to enter it. If it's going to just kind of continue to grind and go straight through it and grind, it's not a great setup for me. Yeah, I use my higher time frame for key levels, and then I execute on the one. So I don't look for setups on the higher time frames, really. I just use the levels on those time frames to give me my intraday positions because I'm not positioning long term. Obviously, you saw I'm taking trades that are a minute or less, or some of these I would like to hold for nice runners, but that's just depending on what the trade's going to give me. So I'm not looking to hold long term, especially with the prop firm. I got to be flat by the end of the day anyway. So the higher time frame setups to me, very, I use the levels, right? But they aren't as important to me because they still could take time to get that set up. I use the levels from the setups, I guess you would say, but I use the levels from the 30, and I'll look for a 30-minute, divergence of sorts. But for the most part, I just kind of am looking for that short time frame setup manipulation at key levels, and then I go off of that. So I do understand why people use high time frame setups, high time frame rules, but I don't use the longer time frames for anything that I'm doing because I'm not looking for big moves. I'm just trying to catch pieces of smaller moves, scalp, and get out. But it's not that I'm saying that those levels aren't important. Those levels are important, but I use them as levels more so than setups. I want this same kind of setup, but one leg lower. Because you could see probably the divergence continuing, price continuing to make lower highs, and delta continuing to make higher lows, right? So that going down, that going up. An Apple popping. Apple breaking, which means money's flowing out of NVIDIA probably. Yep. And Microsoft sitting on its low, so you may get that pop sooner rather than later. Apple rocking, baby. I did mention that Apple could rotate into 177 today. I don't know if it cracks 177, but if it holds 175, 80, 176, then that 177 probably comes in. But it's funny because Apple being one of the top three names, it's ripping, but the money's flowing out of NVIDIA, and since NVIDIA is dumping, the market's pushing down. It is amazing how they are diverged. I noticed it. I noticed it, and it just continues to play out. Uh, until that doesn't play out, I think people should start. If you are an equities trader, watch that divergence. Watch for that setup because if you could see Apple start to pump and Nvidia's at a key level, you might be able to catch some couple bucks on a move pretty quickly, just based on the money flipping out. Apple has up to 177 post market high, after market high from yesterday or Friday, and it was like the resistance from midday on Friday. But I'm not. I don't trade equities. I just use them for my advantage. I like to use the Nvidia, Microsoft. It, I don't think Apple has any follow through past 177. If it does, it's not going to go very far. There's something just about Apple of late that they just kind of people. It seems like people are looking to flow out of it and into other stuff. Microsoft is holding below 422. Nvidia holding below 892, even below 890. The support here for Nvidia is right now at 856. 886, which is just trying to crack right here. If it does break, could go to low of day, and then you got to watch 882. And then I think if we get down into that low of the day and you do catch a bounce, that could give our overnight low divergence setup. 172 though is holding. You can see 172 right here. Got wicked and then held, got wicked, held. I want one more leg down here to that overnight low. Might not get it. What's the overnight low? It's 46. Yeah, it probably gets there. But then we do have down to the previous day low at 120. These two areas here. All right. If it gets there, I need it to set up anyway. Give me 2 minutes, and I'll be right back. Still kind of just holding that 172 level. Nvidia bouncing. That means probably right. Apple fades a little bit. It's still going. Apple's still going upside. Microsoft flattened out. Nvidia also. We might not be able to get down into that overnight low. We may just hold 172 as the support area. If that's the case, watch the rotation back to that 277 area. Get rid of this because I don't need it. I always just get rid of lines I don't need. What's Tesla doing? Tesla wicked the low, and it looks like it wants to break back above 165, but it's kind of just holding there. It's pretty heavy. It does have down at 160 for the day probably if it does continue down. But you want Tesla all the way down into below 100? What would you consider double digits? Damn. I don't know if Tesla gets that low. I think Tesla could get to 130 maybe. I don't know if it gets below 100. I think it's got too much value behind it, but also at the same time, it doesn't really matter. Price will do whatever it wants, it seems. Mm. Oh. Missing a package. That's annoying. That is a good question, AK. When did you get home, dude? What time was your flight yesterday? What's up? What's up? What's up? Nice, nice. Yeah, I had a 6 a.m. flight. Got in at like 8:30 Central a.m. I went to work for 2, and then I got out at work at midnight, and I was like, we're ready to go. I saw that. You gotta get me one of those shirts, dude. I need one of those AK drip swag, baby. And that Porsche too. I guess I'll take the Porsche too if you want to give it to me. I'm guessing you're done for the day for now. Hell yeah, baby. It was a good time, dude. I'm glad we all got out there. I hope we could do it more, like you said. It was a really good meetup, and if we could all grab some Porsches and rip around, that'd be even better. Maybe not in the city though, because you just don't have that ability to move it like you want to. I bet you had a good time in Jersey with it though. Oh hell yeah! And the Jersey State Troopers kind of don't. They're never really around. I don't know. You don't see them that frequently. Hell yeah! Hell yeah! I'm still waiting for this overnight load to kind of get tagged before I even think about taking a long off of there. But it's kind of just like I said. Today's going to be kind of a grinding day. I think with the lack of economic releases, we're not going to get very much on like really big moves as far as like quick and going. I'm just gonna wait and see on maybe this Iran Israel stuff pops off again. Then that's when you'll start to get a little bit more movement. Tomorrow you do have building permits, but I don't think that moves the market at all. And then the rest of the week you got a whole lot of nothing. So it's gonna be sideways or grinding. I don't think you get a lot of high volume breaks. So just, if some of these other names start to roll though, like if you get Nvidia to keep rolling, if you get Microsoft to roll over, Apple just dies or something like that, then maybe you get some more movement. But right now, nothing. AK, baby. That guy's a character. I think it was awesome. Everyone gets a Porsche. Hell yeah. You get a Porsche, and you get a Porsche, and you get a Porsche. That's great. Mm-mm. Yeah, I don't like to be involved in this crapola. If you got the NASDAQ doing this, then it's kind of just not a lot of opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, the NASDAQ likes to do things like that. Those big moves, even the whippy action, manipulation tends to be 40 points, 30, 40 points. you want this kind of movement. Once you get into this, we're starting to get into midday. You know, that grind could continue and continue and continue, or it could just sit on this 172 level that I mentioned, and just sit here and sit here and sit here and sit here until like 2 o'clock, and then they go wow and whap off. So that's why I like to take the opportunities that I take, and then move on and wait. I don't have the, especially with the prop firm, with Top Step and all the. No one likes Nutella. I mean, I like Nutella here and there, but I don't even think I have any in the house. But the kids like Nutella too. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it's just going to be a whole lot of nothing for the rest of this session. I think for like, unless we kind of grind down, like I said, if I can get into my overnight lows, you might get it there. You might get a pop off this 172, but really with Microsoft just flattening out at this 422.50 level, and NVIDIA at its low of the day for the most part, 884, you might get a little bit of bounce from that, but you do have a gap to fill on the NVIDIA down into 877, possibly could go there. So that could just continue our grind to the downside. And if NVIDIA is selling, and Apple's probably getting a bid, but no, Apple actually is selling some too. So there is some heaviness here. Could push us to that overnight low before we pop off, but let's see what happens. It's all about just being patient, letting that thing set up for you. Microsoft. I'm going to get back to having both NVIDIA and Microsoft up so I can see those on the side. So if you're wondering what I'm seeing, this is what I'm seeing. I look over here on the NVIDIA there. I got Microsoft there. I hate when I do that. Sorry. I did not mean to set the alert off. I actually have to switch that hotkey because that's not gonna be helpful if I keep accidentally hitting it and then throwing sirens in your ear for no reason, because that's an alert. And I ain't alerting nothing right now. There's nothing to go. Yeah, Microsoft is selling some, but not following through. There's not a lot of like heaviness to it, right? You can see it's there. It's just kind of basing and chopping on that 5. And NVIDIA over here, you can see that as well. I don't know why I would have hit that button anyway. We'll go back to 1. And this is my executions, right? Like I said, we're sitting here up about 212 on the day. I'll take that on a Monday, on a day where I didn't quite get the setup that I wanted, and I didn't enter. This is going to become one of my top setups. It's just not right now. And for some reason, this VWAP keeps changing, right? Because this definitely wasn't up here before. It was down in this area. So I have to check on this, because on the there it is. That's better on the 5. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but it's adjusted itself for some odd reason, because this is where it really is, right? This was the true VWAP area. That was what was convincing me to hold off until that 277 cracked when we were below the VWAP. So if 277 cracked, then the VWAP could go. But you can see still we're getting the delta divergence. At some point, this is going to break one way or the other. Either delta is going to catch up and make new lows, or price is going to want to pop off. I would love to see this be down at that overnight low. If you can do this and do this and do this down into the overnight low, and this can continue to hold, tighten up that delta, then you get that winding up pop, and you could hopefully catch that move back to the VWAP. For me, that's the ideal setup. But like I said, that 172 for me is that longer term key level. Up to 12.20 on one account, didn't trade the other account. Microsoft trying to push. NVIDIA still just kind of lingering on the lows. Nothing that's explosive, no high volume stuff. Like I said, we're rolling into the middle of the day. Market's been open almost 2 hours now. I'm streaming here till 11 a.m. I'm waiting for this overnight low to give me an ability to set up down here. So I want price to be down here before I do execute. My ability of late to be more patient to get prices to the levels I want them instead of executing middle of zones has really paid off a lot. Obviously, you can see we are up, over the past 2 weeks. Today included 1,600, which is, nothing crazy, but it's just showing the consistency over the course of the last few weeks. And realistically, like I said, we're just trying to build the buffer on this funded account. And then once we get over that, where this max loss limit goes up to 0, we're already eligible for a withdrawal, but we're looking to build that buffer to keep our drawdown safe. And then everything over that 2,000, that's when we'll start to take pieces of that. And we'll just kind of keep doing that as far as the withdrawals are concerned. But we could add contracts for myself. I'll start to add contracts as I'm over that buffer, right? I don't want to add contracts now and then start to double my losses when I don't have that buffer to play with, right? So, realistically, with one contract, you can do pretty good damage. But as I add one more and one more, you'll start to see the P&Ls, you'll see the equity curve pop a bit better once we start to add, 1 or 2 more contracts. I don't like to trade much more than that. I don't find a need for it. There could be, if we're scaling into something that's a little bit bigger of a move. But for the most part, I'm looking to get into 1 to 3. If I can get into at a level, if I can get into full size at 3, limit my downside, and I could shed, 1 at a key level, the second, hopefully get off at the second, and then let one runner run. That's when you can really maximize your profits on these futures contracts. But until then, taking my base hits, building the buffer, showing the power of making $200 a day, that's plenty, right? As far as just starting to establish yourself as profitable, starting to establish yourself as being able to stick to a plan, because at that point, if you can prove that you can make 2, you can make 10, you can make 1,000, you can make more, right? As long as you stick to the plan and your account size can allow for it, you can just scale up slowly but surely and make sure that you can, build the account in the right way instead of, just going full port and gambling and taking what you're going to get. So right here, I think that flush of 172 might not get us down into that overnight low, to be honest, because Microsoft looking to wick. And if it gets above 422.50, then Microsoft may go upside here. And then Microsoft taking us upside with NVIDIA could be that catalyst that we need to get out of this little divergence, right? Still holding this. This is not an exact science here. This is not a wedge like that I'm looking to play a breakout of or anything like that. I'm just showing that there is the delta divergence, right? You can see price making new lows, but delta continuing to stay steady. That means there's not new sellers coming in to push this downside. There's not a ton of sellers, and there's also not a ton of buyers coming in bidding it up, right? You're not getting that move yet. So I use delta to help time my entry around my key levels. If you could just have like a couple confluences that keep you in or out of trades, then that's what's gonna. You just gotta stick to them all the time, and you'll be fine. Where are you getting your market maker levels from? On Thinkorswim? Do you have like an indicator for it, or you like have a custom coded indicator or something? I used to use my Thinkorswim for charting, but now that I have my levels kind of like really simplified, I just stick to the platform that I'm executing on, and then I use my trading view to just chart out my levels, and I make my own. Yeah, you could do that by looking at the option stuff. That makes sense. When I have my level 2s, I do a lot more my order flow stuff, reading the tape some. But I do like the time and sales as well to kind of help myself on certain levels. But like I said, I'm very shorter time horizon executions, so I don't necessarily need the high end levels. I'm able to kind of see them and develop them on my own. That's been one of my strengths over the course of the years is defining and developing levels and understanding why around those levels things would happen. It would behoove me to do a better job of executing around those levels, and that's what I've been doing over the last few months of sticking to those levels that I have developed. Because obviously you could think, oh, I'm going to get involved here, I'm going to get involved here, I'm going to get involved here short, I'm going to get, oh, it failed the short, I'm going to get long, and that's when you get yourself into a lot of trouble. So if I stick to my levels, my win percentage, you can see, is pretty decent, right? One losing day over the course of the month, and really limited the downside on it. So that day, I obviously overtraded a bit, and I actually saw the market really, really well. My levels were fantastic that day. I just screwed the pooch on some of the entries, and the one that I missed was sort of like the one here, where it was the one move that I probably should have executed on and maximized my gain on, and then been done for the day. But Microsoft reclaimed 422.63, 422.50. So catching that bounce there, probably not going to get to the overnight low within my streaming period here up till 11. I did mention that 172 level was going to act as resistance, and there you go. Once again, 172 was that level that was important, right? You do wick below it, but 172.50 bounce, wick below, bounce, false break of the low, and now recovered. Once you recovered 172 again, back up. Do we get full rotation? I don't know. I think maybe back up into that purple zone could be realistic if you do break above 200. And if Microsoft and NVIDIA catch a little bit of a bounce, then they rotate us back up some. Just good to know that, like, once again, that 172 level playing that major support level. I don't think, like I said, I don't think we have enough information this week to get ourselves out of a range-bound type kind of grinding few days. Until you get something that's going to break us out, I'm going to keep reiterating the same things, that until you get something that's going to break you out of an area, that's what it is, right? That's what trading is, and that's what a lot of these this equities pricing in, right? They're pricing in the future price of where these things are going, right? And they want to know more information to get them the ability to say, okay, maybe we're going to do this. We're not going to, But right now it's just a grind, right? It's going to be rangy. It's going to stay within that, couple 100-point range. And we just don't have enough until they decide that they're going to do the rate cut or not rate cut. So, yeah. And we'll see what he has to say, right? Like, he talks Wednesday, but, let's see. Wednesday, Meister speaks. Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't see any Powell speeches on Wednesday, but if you can find it, let me know. If Powell does speak, he's going to say a lot of the same nonsense, but it will move the market just a bit. He is excellent at talking in circles. So, oh, hey, Max, you got apple juice? Come on, say hi. Come say hi. Hello, wet hands. What's up? How you doing, buddy? Say hi to everybody. Ooh, say hi. Hi. Yeah. You gonna learn to trade today? Huh?
No.
No? Okay. All right.
I'm going to piano.
What?
Piano.
Piano today, huh? All right, go learn piano. Have fun.
Piano.
Bye, Max.
No more coffee, no more.
Yeah. Thank you.
1 or 2?
No, I'm good. Yeah, no, I don't see it on Wednesday, but it could, like I said, Meister could have some movement, but I don't think. I also don't 4:30. I'm not going to be trading. We are, like I said, there's not a ton of information. Red ticket, red folder. It might be next week that you saw Wednesday. The interest rate decision is next Wednesday, May 1st. 2 Wednesdays from now. So that's not a ton of information coming for the next few weeks. Durable goods, GDP, PCE, NFP somewhere in there. There we go. The third. Yes, he is a healthy young lad. He is a good boy. Gotta love that kid. He comes in. He likes to say hi when I'm trading. I like to keep my stream as relatable as possible, right? I don't have a studio. I trade out of my home office area. You have kids, you have a wife, you got a job, you got a business that you got to run. Daytradingcoffeeco.com. Check it out. Use code PolicingPips for 15% off. Not a bad deal. Since it's my business, I have the ability to offer the discount code. We are actually did a good, had a nice meeting up there, possibly looking to partner with some brokerages. It's going to be really good as far as the trading company. I do want to donate a portion of my profits to funding underfunded traders, and if we could partner directly with the brokerage, we could give out some cash accounts, which is going to be really, really good. That's my goal with the coffee company, is mainly to give back and provide good coffee for traders. So it's pretty great. Oh, yeah. Dogs and cats, baby. Those are your kids. But yeah, I like to keep it real. I like to keep the family involved. I like the kids coming in on the stream. Oh, do you have a question? Yeah, that's good. Thank you. Some of the kids. Yeah. For you. Where's the Great Danes at? They're not in there? No. I want to see you bring those Great Danes into that apartment and see how you're going to walk them down the street. Yeah, you're good. You're breaking my balls, bro. All good. That's why I do it. I'll keep checking, and I'm all about getting that information. There he is. Look at it. Oh, is that a Weimaraner? You have a Weimaraner too, or is that a baby Great Dane? Oh my gosh, I love Great Danes, man. I always wanted one, but also at the same time, I know I fall in love with them, and they're so big. They don't have as long a lifespan. I hope yours live forever. I get so attached to the dogs. I love Great Danes, dude. My buddy had Daniffs, so it's Great Dane Mastiffs, and they are absurd, and they're awesome, and they're big mushes. I'm gonna have to come over to Arkansas just to play with your dogs. That's what's gonna happen. Yeah, that's like I said, I like to keep the family. I like to keep the reality of my stream, because there's plenty of streams out there that are serious and, doing their thing. Oh, 12 and a half years. That's awesome. That's a good dog. And they're so even-tempered, right? Yeah, of course, yeah. You guys seem like great people, great animal people. If you're on YouTube and you're wondering who I'm talking to, I'm over on Tradecaster.com talking to the great AK-47, trader extraordinaire and dog lover. Yeah, I had friends that had all Great Danes, and they were just always the nicest dogs. I love their size, and they're just such good boys. Good boys. Look at those guys. Jeep family. I love it. There's actually a nice little movement there, but nothing that I'm still interested in. Jeeps and dogs. I got the Challenger. I don't know if I could fit a Great Dane in the Challenger, but maybe the Durango, we could get the Great Dane in there. The kids have been asking for a dog. I'm interested, although I only get to 11. Ah, dang, yeah. I'm only on here till 11 today. I do have work on Mondays. Tuesdays, I'm off, so I may stream a little longer on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I don't know if I'll get to my entry criteria prior till 11, but I am going to stay here and see if it sets up for you guys, okay? I'm going to try and do my best to call out my levels. Like I said, that 172 level is pretty important. Oh, man. That is a great picture. I got to save it. Saving it. Saving it. Tradecaster. Bang, bang, Danny. It's going to be huge, I think. I think we got a lot of really cool shots that day. And I think I know Deck knows how to promote, so it's going to be really, really cool to see the final product of that. He's never going to put out something that's subpar, and whatever comes of it, whatever we decide to announce when that time comes, we will announce it. But I think we look real good there, man. Damn right. That's really cool. And with those cameras that they got, that was sick. The Porsche shots. And I like I said, I'm really looking forward. I don't miss New York City, but that was a great event. Like coming in, going in there, doing what we did, meeting up with everybody. I think it was a great turnout at 235th, having people come out and, it just shows the quality of people who want to be in this community that aren't looking for the crap, Yeah. I actually just noticed that. Coats, no ties. Tie, no coat. But you got a baller ass pocket there. You got a nice pocket that matches the tie. It's a beautiful thing. That's awesome. I'm guessing you had a good morning today. You traded today, AK, your pre-market stuff. Microsoft holding above 422 and NVIDIA trying to push back up to 892, but I don't know if it's going to have any power to get back through it. You are the king of the small cap crap shorts. Pre-market, market open. Yeah, I woke up this morning because, like I said, I flew out at 6 a.m., so I didn't get back to my parents probably until almost 1:30. Had to get on a plane. I had to get to the airport by 4:30. So no sleep really. Just closed my eyes for a minute. Came back, and then tried to sleep on the plane on and off. But yeah, today is definitely a recovery day. I told myself if I do get one or two good executions, I'm gonna just kind of chill. So I got my one. I would like to have caught one or two of these up here, but they just didn't line up to be my entry, So we're just being patient on recovery day. Recovery Monday. If I could be green on a recovery Monday, then I'm good to go. I think there's going to be plenty of opportunities this week. It's just going to be, and my strategy has a lot to do with range-bound weeks being better off. So as long as we stay within this little wide range here and that we could use these previous day highs and lows and overnight levels, we're going to be in good shape come the rest of the week. We did push out of this wedge, and you can see once you broke out of this wedge, you got that big delta push. It shows that buyers are coming in, and AK's favorite, that VWAP, that one standard deviation away from that VWAP. He loves to play that on the other end or for his shorting. But for me, you see that sitting on there. You got that wedge down there at a key level, and then you see the delta. Delta is just people buying and selling on the bid, right? So if you start to see the divergence here, you got that break, boom, VWAP, wop, wop, baby. Gotta love it. Every wop is a good wop, you know what I mean? You get your lunch thing on. I appreciate you stopping by, AK. We had AK in here. We had Mo in here earlier. We got the whole family coming together. I think, like I said, that meetup was huge. I think, if we weren't a good community beforehand, I think even more so now, everybody connecting and working together is going to be a beautiful thing. So, there's nothing but family. Absolutely, dude. Get to your lunch hour set up enjoy it. And I'm probably going to be in your room probably tomorrow sometime after after my stream is up. Cheers. Also, I got to get me one of those AK shirts. You find it, you let me know. I'll buy one. Alrighty. If the Tradecaster link has disappeared from YouTube, I'll just throw it in the chat just so you have it. 7-day free trial. You don't need any credit card. You don't need nothing. I am free to watch for now until the stream grows quite a bit. But until that time, I want to get everybody over there because we do want to do giveaways. Once the stream views go up over 50, I'm going to do giveaways once a week. I'm going to give away some coffee stuff, give away some cash. And like I said, if you want to be a part of it, all my giveaways are going to go through the Tradecaster lobbies. It's free to join. Create a username. You'll be able to get into all the lobbies. Here, I'll show you what it's all about. I'm going to go back here so we can drop it in. So this is the Tradecaster. If you are not in Tradecaster and you're on YouTube, this is what I'm talking about. It's a community for traders, by traders. You can see who's streaming right now. Me, Deck, Active Trader, J-Trade, and the spread. Down below is kind of everybody who's not live currently, although AK just popped in here. He'll be back on if he's not live. I don't know why it wouldn't show him live. I bet he is. He was just in the chat, so that's who I was talking to over there. If you heard me talking. Just you come in here, you got your lobbies, you got your videos, you got tons of information. You can learn all about everybody's strategies. You can learn about education, good boot camp stuff. From beginners all the way up to advanced traders. There's something to offer for everybody. So if you head over there, and today only, he's running a 2-for membership. Here's your pricing, fully transparent on it. It's $174 a month. Every 6 months it's $870. We got a discount on it, and then also today is the 2-for deal, right? So if you buy 1 month, you get 2 months. You can buy 6 months, you get a year. You buy a year, you get 2 years. And if you buy the lifetime membership today, then you get either a lifetime membership to gift to somebody that you love because you love them that much that you're going to give them that kind of value and make them stupid money on top of it, or you get 25% off your membership. So come on in. If not, right, like I said, you get a 7-day free trial. So let's say you want to come in and take advantage of today's 2-for sale and you buy this. It's 7 days free trial. You won't get charged until after the 7th day. It says it right here. So if you don't like what you get with your free trial, you can cancel it beforehand and you can get that money back. But you also be able to take advantage of the 2-for deal while the supplies are there. Deck is offering that for people, for early adopters of this, and it's really, really a good platform. Like you can see, there's so many traders on here that you can learn from. Right, and this isn't even everybody, just everybody who's streaming right now and who's in chat and stuff like that, who has lobbies. So you could trade options, stocks, futures with me. Stocks meaning just straight shares. You got penny stocks, you got people who are a little swing trades, somebody who's scalpers, you got Rigonometry, big old futures. Caesar, guy's the man. Met off this weekend. He's the best. But just go in there, get your free trial, click the link, and enjoy. If you are into coffee, I will share the coffee link as well in there. We are a coffee company for traders, by traders. I started the company. We offer freshly roasted coffee delivered right to your door, and you use policing pips, and you get 15% off. Use that code for 15% off all coffee, all mugs. We got shirts, right? I'm wearing the hat, the shirt. We got the gear. It's good. And then, like I said, once we are building up a profit, 10% of all profits will go to the funding fund. And I want to try and donate brokers, cash accounts through brokerages. And like I said, I made some good connections this weekend, seeing if we're going to be able to pull something like that off kind of quick, where once we build up a nice little funding fund, donate the brokerage account to somebody who's a loyal follower and somebody who needs it, right? Somebody who's, at that step in their journey, who they're ready to take that next level and do a little feature on them in the website and all that. It'll be nice. But also, like I said, until then, we want to do, since I'm a futures guy, we want to try and partner with Top Step or somebody like that and be able to donate you guys some accounts. Even if we don't partner with them, if I just buy you accounts. I like working with Top Step. I have no qualms. This is how I make my money through here. So we're just going to be looking to give out some free accounts as well. So get you into combines, get you started getting funded and learning how to trade futures. And you can follow along with me and learn how to pass these accounts and get, more out of your money. If you are in TradeCaster and you're in the futures world and you head up to Riggs's Rigonometry thing, he does the same thing as me. He leverages these funding accounts and goes from there and extracts as much as he can from these funding accounts. Right, they're definitely worth the money if you can know how to work your strategy, build your buffer up, and then leverage multiple accounts. Right, we got 2 accounts here currently. Sometimes you burn them, sometimes you don't. But right now we're holding on to about $100,000 worth of funding. We're gonna probably run through another challenge soon. Once I build up the buffer in here, I'll probably run through another. And with Top Step, you can only have 3 funded at a time. Some of the other ones will let you have up to 20. Just depending on which company you use. I will pop the Day Trading Coffee Company link in the TradeCaster lobby as well. If you want to head over there, it is excellent coffee. I drink it every day, and I am a coffee snob, so I'm not just tooting my own horn. We do offer some really good blends. 10 different roasts, ranging from decaf and half calf all the way up to espresso. Dark roast, light roast, medium roast, everything you could want. That's what we got. So, it's something for traders, and we didn't have that, so I took advantage and thought we could offer that to our community. So hopefully we can grow the community up pretty big. We are 10 minutes left in our stream. Really, like I said, I see this kind of going a little bit sideways, probably until 2 o'clock. Really, I mean, we have Microsoft rolling over, Nvidia's starting to roll some. We might get to our overnight low, but I don't know if we're going to set up in time for me to execute right before I get myself out of off stream. Right, you have a big push up. You have the delta push downside here, kind of acting together. We are just, watching this cautiously. We had a couple profitable guys today here. We could call out Ray Frias, made a couple $100 on his trades. He's been doing a combine for a little bit, and he's finally decided to give it a go with the full minis and did pretty well today. Executed 1 or 2 good trades, and has moved on and up into whatever else he's going to do for the rest of the day. You take the money and run. Hopefully we can get him passing a combine soon so he can extract the cash that he so rightfully deserves out there. We're working really hard, so it's good to give him a shout out. Like I said, we're out here just kind of waiting for our trades, and we just didn't have anything, right? You got this grinding action, something that kind of just keeps you out of this. I mentioned this 72 level being a very, very important level for me. It's been holding for the past week or so. I think that this break, maybe we could have took this just based on the pure divergence and then the breakout of that level, right? You could see the delta start to flatten. You got the pop. Once you got the pop through this, right there at 175, it held 172. Once it holds 172, you get the delta push. You could kind of trust that move to roll out. 172 to 200, that's 30 points. 202. That's a nice little run right there. You could have caught pretty much all of that. And then maybe we'll see if this will hold 200 and kind of rotate back. But like I said, once we got into this range here, I said we probably just kind of sit here on top of 172 for most of the morning and into the lunch hour. So I'm going to use the bathroom real quick, come back and sign off. So give me 1 minute. You're breaking my balls, bro. I appreciate you coming in and having a good conversation. That was really, it's good to have the interaction. I love it. If you like the stream, click the like button. If you like the conversation, if you like any of the content that we provide, hit off on that like button if you can. Help me out a little bit on that. Grow the community a little bit at a time, and you know, it's that little like never hurt nobody. Still just hovering around that 200, 208, 177, 172. We got NVIDIA and Microsoft both trying to curl upside, but both still holding below key levels of 422 on Microsoft and 892 quarter on NVIDIA. So those are the two levels that, you know, kind of acting as resistance. Thank you. I appreciate you hitting that for me. I appreciate you coming by. Always having a good conversation. It's nice having the interaction, and kind of keeps you out of taking some shitty trades, right? Even if it's just a little conversation about your dogs, or if it's a conversation about levels and divergences. You know, I think the more you have a group of people that are kind of like-minded and talking about things and going through trades and understanding levels, you help each other out just by putting it down, even in a chat, or talking it out and conversating through that way. Because not that it's going to, you know, stop me from trading or stop me from doing this, but it gives you, yeah, absolutely. I feel like that's another thing that TradeCaster kind of gives you. It gives you that feel like you're, you know, part of a group, part of a, you know, the pit action. Yeah, it sucks that, honestly, I feel like we're just a generation off of, you know, missing that kind of, that interaction. I would have loved to have done that, as like being in the pits, being there, you know, calling out orders and you know, that high level, that high intensity atmosphere. Kind of missed out on that, really, that cool vibe of, you know, personal interaction, right? That was a different world. Now we're stuck in the digital age, and you know, we got to do it this way, but we're going to take advantage of it and make the most of it. And we had our meetup, our TradeCaster meetup this weekend, and it was fantastic. And, you know, hopefully that's more, yeah. I don't like it. I do like it, and I don't. I like the ability to have the option to do this at home and create like this. Like, I'm not a content creator. I'm not, you know, whatever. I enjoy the stream. I enjoy the conversation. I enjoy providing value. But also, like, I enjoy having the ability to do this at home and be able to take care of the kids and do all that stuff. But also the disconnect from people, I don't like. I like being able to interact and be in person. I almost don't even like fucking phones, you know? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I could imagine, right? This, I mean, for me, this helps me trade better for sure. It keeps me accountable, right? I mentioned the lockout button. It's 5 minutes to 11. So this is what you'll see when you click it. Confirm trading lockout. By clicking this button, you will be locked out from trading anymore until the next market open, which is 5 p.m. Central Time tonight. I'll be at work, so I will not be trading at all the rest of the day. So in order to fight that urge to run over here at, you know, right before work, I locked out. Now I cannot execute on this. It shows here down the bottom below my face. You can't see it, but below my face it says locked out, no manual entry. If I click off of this account and then back to this account, that notification will pop up every time. I'm going to tell you that this, so far, I think this is like the turning point key thing that's going to help a whole lot of traders, right? Because obviously you have this ability to do that in some brokerages where you can lock yourself out at a profit target or at a drawdown limit or whatever, or if you take a couple losses in a row. But for you to physically have to click that button that says lock me out, you're making a conscious decision to accept what the day has provided you and eliminate any sort of FOMO. You know, like, oh, I'm going to run over to the chart and execute something that maybe isn't A+, maybe isn't ready. It's not part of your plan. So it just kind of eliminates that part, and it really calms your talking down. And to click the button, like I said, you make the conscious decision. You have to do it. I have to click that button. So for me to have to click that button, it's making that a habit. It's creating it's creating a visceral effect of like, I went out of my way to do it. So I know that it's something that is on purpose, right? Like if I get locked out because I hit my max loss limit, it is what it is, right? I have no decision on that. I just either executed like shit or just ran into some bad luck. But if for you to viscerally click that button, get out of the position, or click that button and lock yourself out, accept your losses, accept your wins for the day, and then move on to tomorrow. It just develops that really good habit. It develops that every day we're going to lock ourselves out. We're going to be good. We're going to hit off on either a profit target or, understanding that it's not even profit target for me, really. I mean, I guess if that would have been $1,000 or something crazy where, on one really nice move, I clicked in, clicked out, I might have just locked myself out right away and then switched accounts. But for the most part, it's understanding that I'm not going to get another setup in the time frame, in the time horizon that I'm going to get. So for me to be able to do that, it eliminates the middle of nowhere chop execution, and I'm out, right? So I'll show you again. If you see up here, it shows lockout manual. This is my other funded account. I made no executions on the other funded. So this one's locked out. Secured my win for the day. One trade, one win, 212.20. We had a couple good setups, stuff that we could have executed on, but we're adding them to the playbook. Didn't quite really plan it out, so we didn't execute on it. Right? I want to just review it real quick on the day before I cut out. The stream's over in 1 minute, but I'm going to just review my day. I have noticed time and time again that if we do run up to an overnight high and we open on that overnight high, that pre-market high, usually the opening range break trade will be the right trade, right? It'll revert back to VWAP. I'll be able to execute on it, make a good trade on it. Today was the same, but we opened and it immediately dumped. So we didn't have the opportunity to get ourselves set up and ready to go. I don't usually like to trade that exact minute because it's going to manipulate you. I could have gone down, up, whip me out, all that stuff. I want to see that manipulation happen over that overnight high, not so much on this end, right? I want that first move to be up and then come down. Didn't really execute on it, but that would have been a really nice play. It did play out. It's kind of just confirming that thought process on opening at an overnight high or an overnight low to take that directional trade. Then once again, we did a really good job of staying out of this. I did want to short the 277 level, which is just below this yellow zone. It's just a level that I have on my longer term chart. The VWAP was not where it is there. So I'm going to put this here because for some reason it moved and I don't like that. It's not going to, excuse me. It's not going to show properly, right? So we stayed out of the chop. Once price got below VWAP and our level was below VWAP, you could have executed that short there, right? So that's where I was looking to. I believe you could set the, where if you wanted to automatically lock you out at 500, you could. I don't like the profit target version because if I have a runner on or something, I would like to maximize that. And the drawdown is automatically 1,000 on the day, so it locks you out anyway. And for me, I would like it to lock me out at 500 automatically on a loss, on a losing day. But I risk give or take 250 per trade, a little bit more, a little bit less. And a lot of times I'm not taking full losers. So I might take 2 or 3, smaller losses, and it might just creep over 5 like it did that day. But I want to do it myself because I want to build that habit of me being the reason why I locked myself out and not because I automatically locked out. You know what I mean? I want to make the conscious decision to do it. I know some people might not want that, but for me, I want to be able to click it and build the habit. So if I could build the habit, then I don't necessarily even, at some point, I might not even have to click it. I might be like, all right, we're done. Walk away, close it up. It's done. It's over with, right? So that button is great. I think there is a way that you can definitely do it where you can have it set for an automatic settings. So here, risk settings. You could set personal daily loss limit. You could set a dollar amount and it'll liquidate and block you from entering. Yeah, so there is a way to do it, and profit as well. So you can liquidate at $1,000 profit and it'll make you locked out. So that's a good thing. you could definitely do it. There is a copier. I've been staying away from using the trade copier. I want to keep these two accounts pretty separate. We're going to dismiss that. That's the lockout notification. Just going to review this last trade before I hop out. I was talking about how we were using the S&P as a guide for our short idea, right? So I was watching this 51.81 quarter level. I said if this level breaks here and we can get through this low, then the NQ should follow. We waited. It finally broke here. So we set our short below that 208 level, which is that key level that's been bouncing from. We got the flush of it. Trailed pretty quick because I did notice that when we broke through the low, we weren't getting the follow through that I kind of anticipated that fast. You could see the Nasdaq's behavior pretty quickly if you are paying attention to it. So we trailed down just above $200, which was really more so because of the key level and the way price action was acting more than what it was as far as just like a random trail, right? I just wanted to be just above this because if it did break here and follow through, we thought that 177 would get tagged pretty quickly. It just took a grinding action, and that's just not the kind of trader I am. So secured that 212, got in, got out, and then we were looking to see if we can get down into that overnight low to get that divergence and play this long side. But the setup happened one leg up higher than it did, so we didn't ever end up getting to the spot where I wanted to execute, right? I was mentioning that 172 level was the key level. Could have played it, but I didn't trust that it wasn't going to go down that one more leg, clean up that overnight low, and rotate higher. Overall, can't be mad at a Monday where you're up 212. You make one trade. We talked about executions. We're maybe adding this setup to our playbook, right? I talked about why I liked it, why I didn't execute on it, and also why I want to execute on it moving forward. Just kind of every day building a little bit on the day before. We'll just go through quick also our stats just to keep ourselves honest and ready to go. P&L curve since April 1st up and to the right. And we have one losing day, which was last Monday. I manually locked myself out that day at 526. But you can see we took, these are, I think these are executions because I only took one trade each of these days. One. Took two that day, broke even. Took one that day, broke even. Then we had the 6 trades this day of just kind of up and down, didn't get the follow through. And then the last 3 days, we've only taken one trade each day, averaging, 4, and then 2 today. So you're just going to build off that this week. I appreciate everybody coming by. Same time tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Central Time, market open, 9:30 Eastern. Come through YouTube, come through Tradecaster. We're going to be doing giveaways as we get closer to 50 viewers on Tradecaster, and then as we kind of hold that viewership every week, I'm going to look to do giveaways. If you're over on YouTube, click over to Tradecaster, have that 7-day free trial, check it out, see if you like it, see if you don't like it, give us some feedback on it. It's a really great platform, really great community. And then you don't just have me, you don't have to click around YouTube looking for other traders who are live. You know who's live all the time because you just go into the lobbies and find them. I'll see you tomorrow. 8:30, like I said, 8:30 Central. Head over to daytradingcoffeecode.com. Use code policingpips. Get yourself 15% off all coffee. And like I said, today is double your Tradecaster membership. So head over there, do your 7-day free trial. You could order whatever you want for today. If you don't like it after that, you could cancel and keep your free trial without that. But you'll get double. So 1 month gets you 2 months, 6 months gets you a year gets you 2 years, and a lifetime gets you 2 lifetimes. So you could donate to somebody or 25% off. Like I said, up 212, another winning day, profit curve up and to the right. That's all you could ask for. $200 a day could keep the day job away if you do it the right way. So tomorrow, market open. I'll see you then. Till then, peace out. Have a good rest of your day.